Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Kent City Council meeting for Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. If you could all please rise and join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bless you. Bless you.
All right. Kim, could you please call the roll?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mayor Ralph.
Here.
Council President Kaur.
Here.
Councilmember Boyce.
Here.
Councilmember Boyd.
Here.
Councilmember Fincher.
Here.
Councilmember Larmer.
Here.
Councilmember Michaud.
Here.
Councilmember Troutner.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. Are there any changes?
No changes from administration, Your Honor.
Okay. Seeing none, a motion would be in order to approve the agenda as published.
So move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. That moves us right into public communications. We have several items this evening under public recognition. The first one is our September Employee of the Month. So each month, our employees have the opportunity to submit a name of one of their coworkers that exemplifies our mission, vision, values, and goals here at the City of Kent. Sometimes it is for a special project that they've done, but most often it is just how they show up every day to do do their job and how they represent their department and the city as a whole. I am very pleased to recognize our September Employee of the Month as Leslie Ellis from Customer Service. Leslie started working for the City of Kent on August 6th, 1985. As a part-time cashier, facility supervisor at Kent Commons. She was promoted into a full-time position of recreation facility supervisor at Kent Commons on December 5th, 1985. On December 1st, 1994, she was hired as a meter reader 2 for the finance department, and today she works as a water meter reader field supervisor. In that position, Leslie, under the direction of the customer services manager, plans, coordinates, and supervises the customer service, field services, and meter reading function within customer services division. She trains, supervises, and evaluates the performance of assigned personnel. I'm going to get into why Leslie was nominated. Leslie was nominated because she is always welcoming and detail-oriented. She will always remember how many pets or family members you have. If you're having a rough day or simply need a pick-me-up, she has a candy drawer where you can help yourself to some good sweet treats. She loves to share food and to feed everyone. She is detail-oriented and will make sure that you feel valued when big changes are happening in your life. She loves to celebrate everyone's birthday and make sure that everyone sings happy birthday to them. If you are new on the team, she's there to greet you with a big smile and make sure that you feel a part of the group. If a customer needs an explanation on how their meter works, she is always willing to go above and beyond to make sure they fully understand how the process works. Many employees rely on her to answer questions or help troubleshoot issues when they come up. And when questions do come up about a meter, we all know we can go to Leslie and she will have the answer. So that's a quote from one of her co-workers. Leslie is also a great example of how to interact with people when you're out in the community. Meter readers are consistently put in tough situations, including turning off delinquent water accounts and informing residents that they have a leak. Leslie never gets rattled. She always keeps her composure, even when she is put in a difficult situation. She expects everyone in her group to provide a high level of service to our customers, and she models that behavior every day. So you can see she's an amazing employee, amazing supervisor, and has been dedicated to the City of Kent since 1985. That's pretty amazing. We are really, really grateful for Leslie, and if we could all give her a round of applause for being our September Employee of the Month. And if you see her out and about reading meters, give her a hello and a congratulations. All right, Council, the next item on our agenda is the appointments to the Parks and Recreation Commission. We have 4 appointees this evening. All of their information is in your packet, and it's on the consent calendar for approval. This evening, we are bringing forward Kurt Spence, Patricia Ryan, Brian Mazarigos, and Janet Stebbins. I know we have a few of folks in the audience. If you want to raise your hand and let council know who you are. Like we've got, looks like 3 folks here. Thank you so much for applying to the Parks Commission, for coming tonight to the meeting, and really being committed to being a part of the community. We are really looking forward to getting a chance to work with you all, and grateful for your willingness to step up. So again, council, they are in, the bios are in the packet and on the consent calendar. So thank you so much for coming out tonight.
You don't want to speak.
Council President Kaur would like to know if any of you would like to come up and say a few words about your applications. Always want to ask, never want to put anybody on the spot. Okay. Come on up. If you could stand right over here at the podium, make it even just a little more intimidating.
So, what was the question again?
Introduce yourself, and then let us know, why did you apply to be on the Parks Commission?
All right, so I applied to not only, well, first off, my bad. My name is Brian Mazarigos, and I applied for the Kent Parks and Recreation Youth Commission for the reason that I mean, of course, I want to make all the events around the city great and whatnot, but I really also want to make the community involved and everybody feel welcome, nobody feel left out from, now I don't want to put it not only onto like the city, but also like in school, like high school, leadership and whatnot. And my goal is for everybody to feel welcomed and feel like they're really appreciated for not only who they are, but what they do.
Brian, thank you. That is really amazing. We are very excited to have you on the Parks Commission.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, we are going to now move on. We have two proclamations this evening. The first one is our proclamation for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. I'm going to go ahead and read the proclamation and then invite our special guests up. We have Gemma, Kim, and Roger Phipps with us this evening, and I'm going to go ahead and read the proclamation. We'll have you come up and we'll do a photo, and then I'd like to ask you to say a few words, a little bit about your journey, and then I also understand that there's a big event coming up in a couple of weeks I'd love to have you share about. Okay, so the proclamation says, whereas it is estimated that 14,690 children and adolescents ages 1 to 19 will be diagnosed with cancer in 2025, and approximately 1 in 285 children will develop cancer before the age of 20. And whereas thanks to advances propelled by research, the cancer death rate has declined by 70% among children from birth to age 14 and 63% among adolescents over the past 5 decades. And whereas, despite these advances, many children who survive cancer will face at least one chronic health condition later on in life, not limited to, but including heart, liver, lung damage, infertility, secondary cancers, and growth deficits. And whereas the causes of childhood cancer are largely unknown and more studies are needed to understand which treatments work best for children. And whereas cancer treatment for children often must differ from traditional adult treatment to take into account children's developmental needs and other factors, including the higher number of types and variances of childhood cancer than adult cancers. And whereas the death rates of children diagnosed with cancer are decreasing thanks to awareness and research of childhood cancer, improvements in treatment, and more children taking part in clinical trials, making continued research and awareness vital to the ongoing fight against this disease. And whereas Kent is a caring community that supports children and families, now therefore I, Dana Ralph, Mayor of Kent, do hereby proclaim September 2025 to be Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in Kent, Washington, and encourage the residents to join me in reaffirming our commitment to fighting childhood cancer.
Color coordination happening.
Fantastic. Thank you all.
Can you see? I'm just gonna. Do you want me to? I'll go first and then you can, so I can introduce you, okay? All right. I'll make it through without crying, maybe. As I stand here today, I'm not just one parent or a family that's been deeply affected by childhood cancer. When my daughter was 16 months old, she was diagnosed with Wilms tumor. That's kidney cancer. It was the size of a grapefruit in her kidney on a Tuesday, and by Friday it was a 2.5-pound size melon. She underwent life-threatening surgery, was placed on ventilators and closely monitored by doctors. That's something no parent should ever in their life witness or endure. Following this surgery, she endured 6 months of chemotherapy, and at such a young age, it had a very profound on her brain, impact on her brain and her immune system, so she was isolated for 6 months. But it didn't stop there. After chemotherapy, she went under every 3 months scans, and that would be x-rays, blood draws, ultrasounds, and that might seem minor to most, but to a child who experienced medical trauma, she had to relive that every 3 months. Our journey didn't just stop with scans either. We were faced occupational therapy, inpatient medical therapy, ongoing challenges that continue to affect her development even today. On the outside, we may look like a normal family, but our path we have walked is nothing but ordinary. And it has been a long road, and we still have a lot of bumps ahead. But today, as I stand in front of you, I'm excited to say that my daughter is in full remission. And she's still, as I share this story, somewhere right now, as I'm speaking, a family is hearing the words that their child has cancer. Those are words that will haunt them for the rest of their lives. Being a cancer mom is one of the hardest titles I've ever had to carry. I've watched friends and family bury their children. I've also stood in celebration with those who hear the words that their cancer has been healed and they're in remission. Cancer does not discriminate. It does not care about age, race, gender, wealth, circumstances. It doesn't care that I went through 3.5 years of fertility and 16 months later my daughter got cancer. Cancer changes everything. But what I know is this: I will not let cancer define my daughter or my family. Instead, we use our journey to shine light on other families that have been affected like we were. And that is why we are so honored to accept this proclamation today, declaring September as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. To recognize like this really does matter. Awareness matters because childhood cancer is not rare. Even if you want to pretend it's not there, it's there. And I do want to share this year, I'm so excited to say, we are hosting the very first Childhood Cancer Walk for Mary Bridge, along with the Side with the See You Later Foundation. That will be September 21st in Sumner High School from 11 to 3 o'clock. And I hope next year maybe we can bring it to the city of Kent as well too, and become a community. So from the bottoms of our heart, we want to thank you to the city of Kent for recognizing how important this fight is. Together, we can rally as a community and bring love and support to the families that really do need it. So thank you.
Thank you, Mom.
Hi, my name is Gemma. Thank you so much for the City of Kent for this proclamation. It means a lot to me and all of the kids who have fought cancer and their families. Childhood cancer is really hard, but together we are stronger. Thank you for helping us spread awareness. I accept this on behalf of all of the brave kids and family who are fighting, who have fought, and who we will never forget. Thank you for the City of Kent.
Gemma, Mom and Dad, thank you so much for being here tonight, and thank you for the work that you are doing to bring awareness. Thank you for being so brave, and congratulations on being in remission. That is it's amazing news for everybody, and the fact that you are here and willing to share your story and doing the work to raise money, working with See You Later Foundation, an organization that is near and dear to many of our hearts. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, so cute.
Okay. We have another pretty heavy proclamation this evening, and I am really pleased to say that our friends Alex and Clara are back with us this evening to accept the proclamation for fetal alcohol spectrum disorders. I will start with, it's been, you guys, what's it been, maybe 3 years ago when you reached out to me the first time? 3 or 4 years ago, and
I don't know what.
they have, and for those of you that don't know, they reached out and sent me a letter, made a phone call, and came and sat in my office and explained to me all of the things that go along with FASD, and wanted to talk about an awareness program here in the city of Kent. I've been before this council now several times and been doing a lot of work to bring awareness. And I want to say thank you for coming back again this year and making sure that this is a conversation that we continue to have. So you all are pros at this. I'm going to go ahead and read the proclamation and we'll do the photo and then we'll have you come up and say a few words. Does that sound good? Okay. So the proclamation says, whereas fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, or FASD, is an umbrella term describing the range of disabilities that can occur in an individual who is exposed to alcohol before birth. And whereas FASD is often accompanied by medical conditions that impact quality of life and can cause challenges with learning and memory, social interaction, cognition, and adaptive function, and can affect anyone regardless of age, race, ethnicity, gender, or socioeconomic background. And whereas in Washington state, an estimated 70,000 people have FASD, with an additional estimated 870 babies being born with FASD each year. And whereas roughly 1 in 20 school-age children live with FASD, which is known to impact learning and behavior in educational settings, and whereas a comprehensive collaborative approach will strengthen advocacy efforts and will help to advance research, professional training, and access to services and resources across the lifespan. And whereas each person and family affected by FASD should have access to reliable and accurate resources with strong support system to let individuals live up to their greatest potential. Now, therefore, I, Dana Ralph, Mayor of Kent, do hereby proclaim September 2025 to be Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorders Awareness Month in the City of Kent and encourage residents to join me in reaffirming our commitment to fighting FASD. Okay, you guys want to come on up?
Don't be shy to propose.
You can talk about that later, but it's going to happen close.
All right. Thank you all.
Good evening, Mayor Ralph and City Council members. Thank you for inviting me back. My name is Clara O'Keefe and I'm 13 years old. I'm here to speak about FASD. For those who don't know what FASD is, FASD stands for Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorder. It is a disability that is caused by when a mother drinks alcohol while she is pregnant. I have FASD. One thing that is hard for me is school. I'm homeschooled because learning is hard for me. A subject that is really hard for me is math. Most kids who have FASD struggle with math too. It also takes me longer to learn things than most kids. Being homeschooled allows me to take the time to learn things, but not everyone has that option to be homeschooled. A few of my strengths are language arts and reading. I am also good at playing instruments. My wish is that more people know about FASD. Please help stop FASD by educating people about it. Thank you and good night.
Good evening, Mayor Ralph and City Council members. My name is Alex O'Keefe and I'm 13 years old. Today I want to talk about fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, also known as FASD. But before I do, I'd like to thank you, Mayor Ralph, for inviting me back. FASD is a disability caused by drinking alcohol during pregnancy. The effects of FASD include physical and behavioral issues and developmental delays in learning, which makes it especially hard to do math. Here's a fact that I'm sure you've heard me say before. 1 in 20 school-age children and adults have FASD. I have FASD myself because my biological mom, who is still an alcohol and drug addict, drank alcohol when she was pregnant with me and Clara. Later, when we were 1 year old, we moved from Minnesota to Kent, Washington to live with my great-aunt Anne, who is now my adoptive mom. Because I have FASD, I can tell you it's hard to understand things other kids my age can understand. I can tell you it's hard to go about my day when there are things I can't do, like learn at an 8th grade level. Heck, I'm still at a 3rd grade level. I have a very hard time staying organized. Social cues are also hard for me, and I struggle to make friends. Currently, there are cuts to education and health support and care, which we need with FASD in order to grow and learn. 3 years ago, I stood right here and said these words. I pray to God as I walk this earth that I hope this proclamation makes a change. And you know what? It's going to take more than a proclamation to help those of us with FASD. We need a commitment to making sure all young girls and mothers understand there is no safe amount of alcohol during pregnancy. So I'm asking you for your continued support for those of us affected and to tell others about the effects of alcohol during pregnancy. Let's stop the rise of FASD in kids, a disorder that's 100% preventable. I don't want kids to grow up and not understand the world they live in. I don't want kids to suffer like me. So please, I'm thanking you for this proclamation, and I'm asking you for your continued support. Good evening and good night.
Thank you both for the work that you continue to do to bring attention to this. Alex, the quote that you said about praying that we brought awareness and this didn't happen, that is something that has stuck with me from the first time that you said it. And I actually repeated it earlier today when I was describing the work that the both of you are doing for this. And I just want to say thank you for coming and making sure that there is continued awareness and know that this is preventable, right? So, guys, can we give one more round of applause for Gemma and Alex and Clara for being so amazing and so great? And I want to say thank you to Kim and Roger and Ann for supporting these amazing young adults and helping them be so strong. So, thank you.
Yes.
I say this every year at this meeting. There is no easy transition from that into the rest of the meeting. We got the important work done tonight. And so, again, thank you so much. All right, we are going to move on to community events. Council President.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have events at Sherwood Center, Assessor Sherwood Center, all T-Birds, Thunderbirds 2025-2026 home game tickets are on sale now, and you can purchase them at ssosherwoodcenter.com. On September 4, tomorrow, Bloodworks Northwest Mobile Blood Drive is happening. Not sure if any of you are signed up, but if you're able to, that we definitely have a need. September 14 is a Bollywood singer Badshah coming here for a performance. And September 20th is Seattle T-Birds home opener and Tri-Cities Americans game. And we do have a flag ceremony at City Hall.
Thursday.
Next Thursday. And September 26th is OV Worship Night. And we also have a Kent Farmers Market happening in Town Square Plaza until September 13. And that happens from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And they do accept EBT and SNAP. And with that, back to you, Madam Mayor.
All right. Councilmember Fincher.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have a mini recycling event coming up on the 19th. That's going to be at Hogan Park. And then King County has the hazardous waste mobile. That is going to be on the 19th and 20th. It's going to be up at Fire Station 75. That's the one up in Covington. And so with both of those events, they're both free. Often, especially for the hazardous waste ones, there are things that you would normally have to pay to dispose of. Not that day. Check out our website and you'll be able to find more information on that. And then the Spotlight Series is coming up. The Spotlight Series program is available online, kentwa.gov/spotlight. That is it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Michaud.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On Friday, we have our last movie in the park at Gerson Park, and that starts around dusk, and I believe it is Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. Also tomorrow at 8 o'clock, we have Coffee with the Chief at Woods Coffee along Kent Kingley.
All right. Thank you so much. We're going to move on to reports. So each one of the council members up here not only serves and works at the council meetings that are the first and third Tuesdays of the month, but they're also members of regional and statewide committees. And the concept behind that is that Kent's voice needs to be represented in all of those conversations, both policy, funding, making sure that we are a part of the decisions that are being made both for and about the city and the region. I am really grateful for the level of involvement of the City Council. So we're going to hear reports from each one of them. I will go ahead and start just quickly. I want to say congratulations to everybody that has gone back to school in the last week or started this week. Congratulations to the parents for our students going back to school, and congratulations to the kids on the start of a new year. Do want to remind everyone, it is still light out in the morning and when the kids are headed home, but as we wind down summer and head into fall, that is not necessarily the case. Please be careful when you're out driving. Keep an eye out for those kiddos as they're walking to and from school, and make sure that you are driving slowly in those school zones. Just want to keep everybody safe as we head back to school. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Pat Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to refer to the council agenda for my report this evening. Thank you.
Council President.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Now that the summer is over, we are going to be heading back to our regional meetings. And I will have those updates in our council newsletter next time, because I do have 4 regional meetings coming up between now and the next council meeting. So I'll be a little busy. During council workshop today, we had a great presentation on our FD Cares corresponder model presentation. So I would encourage our community to go watch that. And if you have questions, you can reach out. And with that, I'm going to go get started on my left here. Councilmember Troutner.
Thank you, Madam President. I am chair of the Puget Sound Regional Fire Authority Governance Board. We had our last meeting on August 20th. We had several proclamations celebrating firefighters and emergency preparedness. We are also looking for members of the community to be part of our Citizen Advisory Planning Committee, and all of that information is in the council newsletter that will come out tomorrow. We have our next RFA meeting September 17th. I am also on the Regional Transit Committee, and we meet on the 17th as well. And back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Looks like we are going to be meeting all the regional meetings. Councilmember Michaud.
Thank you, Madam President. The same. My meetings are later in the month, and you can see the rest of my report in the council newsletter.
Thank you. Councilmember Larper.
Thank you, Council President. I serve as the subject matter chair for Economic and Community Development. We had a small housekeeping resolution today in COW in the Committee of the Whole meeting. No impacts on Kent. It was just something for King County we had to approve as a housekeeping measure. I also serve on the Aging and Disabilities Advisory Council for King County, and we'll be meeting next Friday, so I'll have a report in our next meeting.
All right. Thank you. Councilmember Boyce.
Thank you, Madam President. I am the council representative for the public safety. We did have one grant. Grant is always nice for a total for $70,130 for the first 2 years, and then you get again in the next 2 years, assuming that you do all the things that you're supposed to do. But really, this is really a good grant, which is an initiative really supporting our youth, right? We have a lot of youth who getting involved in drugs, cannabis, tobacco, vaping. So really it's going to be an education program to educate the youth, and it's really from grade 6 to 12. So I'm really excited about that. Also sit on the PIC, which is part of Sound City Association. PIC is Public Issue Committee, which is really consists of 37 cities, and we really kind of try to work together as a team to put policy procedure together to try to help move the state forward. So we have been off for the month of August, and then our next meeting start a week from tomorrow. That's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilmember Boyce. Councilmember Boyd.
Yes, Madam President. As of August 19th of our last council meeting, we have not had any committee meetings, so I have nothing to report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Boyd. Councilmember Fincher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I had the opportunity to attend along with the mayor and a couple of our public works folks. There was a workshop, traffic safety, or conference, traffic safety conference. And then also here, there were several meetings, mid-meeting, Mental Illness and Drug Dependency Advisory Committee, and several others. All of the information is in my council report.
Thank you, Councilmember Fincher. Looks like next council newsletter is going to be full. And back to you, Madam Mayor.
All right. Thank you, Council President. Item number 6 on our agenda is a public hearing. We do not have one this evening. Item number 7 is public comment. Kim, do we have any speakers signed up?
We have 2 people signed up to speak.
All right, I will go ahead and give the instructions, then I'll have you have Kim call our speakers up to the podium. Public comment period is your opportunity to speak to the council and the mayor on issues that relate to the City of Kent or agenda items council will consider. This is not an open public forum, and comments that do not relate to the business of the City of Kent are not permitted. Additionally, the state of Washington strictly prohibits people from using this public comment opportunity for political campaign purposes, including to support and oppose ballot measure or any candidate for office. We do have a 3-minute timer that will go up on the screen, and when you come up to the podium, if you could state your name and city of residence for the record. Kim, can you call our speakers?
The first speaker is Pauline Harry, who is going to speak on homelessness, and Tejpreet Samra, who's going to speak on public safety.
I hope I can use this microphone.
Yep.
My name's Pauline Harry. I live in Kent, resident 37 years. Perplexity AI estimates that there are over 16,800 people who are homeless on any given night in King County. Funding from all sources is estimated at $100,000 per homeless person. A large part of that enables chronically homeless drug addicts to expand drug use and crime in neighborhoods. Housing First is why you see dying drug addicts and subsidized housing dominating the streets and neighborhoods of Seattle now and other communities. Whether this epidemic is caused by childhood trauma, racism, or the breakdown of society, the war on drugs was pronounced lost by Seattle Attorney Pete Holmes and King County Prosecutor Dan Satterberg in 2020, and we were told to adjust to it. The result is the present disaster of trash neighborhoods and businesses, rising insurance rates, grocery stores with 1 or more armed security guards, and an increasing sense of existence in a disintegrating civilization. As many of you are probably aware, that Fred Meyer on East Hill is closing due to crime. This impacts low income and how many people to obtain healthy food. There's a deep problem spiritually and emotionally among a vast number of decent people who want to appear to be compassionate and loving to others and themselves, including, regrettably, those addicted to drugs. They are much like the mother who wants to do anything to help a child who is an addict. This kind of support only enables the addict to continue using drugs. If a drug addict is being supported, why get treatment? Hardcore addicts only get off drugs under 2 circumstances. The first involves the pain of becoming so great with death staring the addict in the face that the addict forgoes drugs to live. The second involves following a treatment program where a new life and purpose emerges, which is sufficiently engaging to overcome the addict's desire for drugs. Government-subsidized enablement of drug addiction has emptied treatment centers. Why would a drug addict go to a treatment center if they can get drugs? Our area beckons to drug addicts across the nation. Human lives are at stake. And as we are all aware, the situation is only growing worse. The time for ending this is now. This tragedy is now. I'm advocating evaluation for these people and that people be given 2 choices. Either enter treatment or go to jail. It was once called vagrancy, and it was not acceptable. This situation is totally unacceptable, and I call upon the council to consider this article, Ending the Homeless Industrial Complex, the Washington State Story. You'll be getting a copy of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Tejpreet Samra.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members. My name is Tejpreet and I am a resident of Kent, Washington. Today I'm here with my siblings, Simran and Amrit. We were all born and raised in East Hill, Kent, and we want to share what it feels like to grow up and still try to live in a city that no longer feels safe. East Hill is the backbone of Kent, home to tens of thousands of hardworking families. These families strengthen our schools and fuel our communities, but that foundation is slowly collapsing. In just the past 3 months, over 7 major businesses have closed on just one major street, 108th Avenue. Rite Aid, Dollar Tree, Fred Meyer, Nature's Market, Walgreens, Joann Fabrics, Valley Medical Center, Kent Primary Care Clinic, and Big 5 Sporting Goods. 7 closures, 3 months on one street. Some, like Fred Meyer, admitted that they could no longer survive because theft and crime were overwhelming, even after doubling security. These closures are not random. They are warnings that Kent is becoming an undesirable place to live. At home, the danger is just as real. Last week at 1:12 a.m., a man launched a firework-like projectile toward our houses. 2 weeks earlier, a prowler trespassed into a vacant property near our neighborhood. A week before that, we heard gunfire outside. I once took out the trash at night without any hesitation, but now it feels like a gamble with my safety. The crisis has reached our schools. At Kent Ridge High School last year, there were 2 gun incidents, one so severe that a gunman possibly entered the building. These are not disruptions, they are serious breaches of safety. Students who want to learn are instead sitting in fear. And yet, amid this decline, the city has supported the siting of homeless shelters inside Kent. Homelessness is real, but placing shelters in the city does not solve it. It adds strain to neighborhoods already struggling. What we need are county-level solutions, where land is more affordable and the state can build rehab centers that provide treatment, stability, and long-term support and care. That is how lives are rebuilt. Inside the cities, shelters are too often becoming hotspots for crime, leaving families and businesses to carry the burden. This is the connection. The closures, the crime, the schools, and the shelters, they are not separate. They are all symptoms of the same decline. And that decline is a result of decisions that are made right here in this room. Look at Bellevue, for example. Their housing policy requires 15 to 25% of affordable units, while the rest remain at market rate. That balance creates stability and attracts families who invest in their community. Bellevue thrives because it draws households that support local businesses. Kent can do this too, but only if we can change our course. Restore visible police presence, reinforce school safety, support businesses before more vanish, and replace shelters with county-level rehab centers that heal people without destabilizing the city. Council members, Kent is at crossroads. We love this city. We don't want to leave, but if nothing changes, Kent families will have no choice but to leave. It is not too late, but the time to act is now and only now.
Thank you.
That was the last public speaker.
Thank you, Kim. All right, we are going to move on to the consent calendar. Tonight we have items A through F. It's a compilation of work that the council has done at previous meetings, and these items have passed out without controversy. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So move.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. All right, we are going to move into other business. Tonight we have 2 resolutions in front of you, but prior to the vote on those, we're going to have a presentation. Joining us first is Julie Periscindola, our Parks Director. And then we will be having presentations following that to lay out everything included in those resolutions, and we will vote on them at the end. So, Julie, I'm going to turn it over to you, and you will introduce our our speakers as they come.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Ralph. Good evening, Mayor Ralph, council members, and community members I have not met yet. For those who are watching also for the first time, I'm Julie Paris-Candola, Director of Parks, Recreation, and Community Services. I serve as the city's project manager on this initiative, and also I'm the direct liaison to the Athenian Group, which I'll explain here in a little bit. So as you know, facility operations is a operation and maintenance that falls under the Parks Department as an internal service fund. But to be clear, this isn't just a Parks-led project. This is an all-hands-on-deck, city-led project. We've had strong governance, deep collaboration, and real robust internal engagement right from the start. Myself and Brian Levenhagen, our Deputy Director in Parks and over facilities, we meet with Athenian weekly on every possible thing you could think of on this project. We also have a dedicated project ELT, is what we call it, an executive leadership team that's a little bit higher in the governance structure. That involves, of course, our mayor, Mayor Dana Ralph, our city administrator, Pat Fitzpatrick, our economic community and development director, Kurt Hansen, our deputy parks director, Brian Levenhagen, our finance director, Paula Painter, and of course, our police department with Chief Padilla and at times Deputy Chief Stansfield. So that group meets on a regular basis every 2 weeks and reviews a lot of higher level decision making and things. We also have, that you know, a steering committee for this group that's made up of internal department directors, key technical staff, depending on what they're specializing in, and a few managers. They meet on a regular basis to make sure that we're constantly coordinating and that we have all voices available at the table. Because it really does impact almost every single department here at the City of Kent, except for the courts, and one could probably relate. They deal a lot with our legal department and our police, so they probably are impacted. They just aren't officially on this particular project. I am really excited to be here tonight. I know I don't seem like, because I'm fighting a cold, so hopefully I don't get all choked up, but it's really a huge moment for not just staff and the city council, for our community and for all the people involved and everybody that we partner with. And so what you hear tonight, you're going to hear a great update, and it's not just about facilities. Obviously that's near and dear to my heart, being over facilities. It really accomplishes a big kind of need we have, but this is bigger than that. It's about how we collaborate and we work together. How do we actually deliver services to our customers? We've had many, many years of feedback from them as well that we're taking into consideration for this project. And so I do encourage you, as you guys are hearing more about this a little bit later, we really are diving deep and taking every opportunity to improve ourselves on this. And I really just want to pause and say thank you to you all at the dais. You guys have been such great leaders on this. You've been involved every single step of the way from the first conversation. It's not all exciting talk because it's a lot of infrastructure conversations. You guys have borne with us. You've been there every step of the way for our city and for our staff. Obviously first with Keyhawk, which was huge, and now with some of these critical projects right here on our civic campus. So thank you for that. You are the council that is really investing in the foundation of our future. And obviously speaking on behalf of all the directors and our collective staff, I just want to say thank you so much for all your support. So as the mayor mentioned, here's how the presentation is going to go. I'm going to just give a quick look back of the project history. How'd we get here today? And that's really a lot for people who haven't maybe just tuning in just now. Then I'll invite Tanyan Farley up. He's the Senior Vice President with the Athenian Group. You all have met him already. He's our city's project manager for this, as well as our owner's rep on the project. He's going to go over some really great stuff on project updates, timelines, some sneak peeks on some floor plans, all that good stuff, be able to answer any questions. After that, Michelle Ferguson, our Deputy Finance Director, is going to present on the bond structure and a little bit on how that fits into our broader city's financials. And just wanted to reassure everybody, while Paula Painter, our Finance Director, is not presenting tonight, she was 100% involved in the process. I was just meeting with her last week, reconciling numbers. She knows exactly what's being presented, so I just want you to be assured of that. And we also have our bond counsel, Deanna, here, just in case we can't answer anything technical. Lastly, you'll hear from our city attorney, Tammy White, who's going to be the closer for us and present the resolution details on authorizing the mayor to manage and execute contracts. And then after that, hopefully we've answered all of your questions. Then we'll go through the motions, as the mayor mentioned. So more to come on those in a little bit. So taking us way back, micro print, hope you guys can see that, but you've seen it many, many times. I had to fit on one slide 8 different presentations spanning 3 years of time, lots of conversations and discussions with you all. So just kind of taking it back, really, while the project may feel like it's moving quickly, and I promise you it really is, this is a very high, fast-paced project, it really has been built on years of discussion, assessments, analytics, strategies, and so on. So I just want to remind us all and take us back to 2020, which is when the city commissioned a comprehensive facilities condition assessment with Meng and FCS Group that really audited every single one of our city facilities. And honestly, when that result came out, it was pretty sobering. I think we all knew that. About $27 million was needed instantaneously for immediate repairs and of observed deficiencies on our buildings. Then when you look at what's coming over the next 2 decades in either major maintenance or predictive renewals, we need another $128.4 million. So that was like oh my gosh, what are we going to do? None of those repairs or critical things really addressed our issues with growing space issues, safety and security, functionality issues, and so on. And of course, every time we delay, those costs just keep rising every single year. And we've talked ad nauseum about all of those details in past presentations. The results of the facility condition assessment really made a few things abundantly clear. Several of our existing very critical facilities just simply aren't positioned to meet the growing demands of a modern growing city. As you know, we started off with 17,700 population and 140 employees. Now we have over 750. We serve over 140,000. We have really grown and evolved in 50 years, and we need to get our facilities up to be able to match kind of our evolution there. 2 key issues came out of the condition assessment. One was obviously City Hall. We're in City Hall right now. This particular building has the most significant needs out of every city building we have. We have around 28 city buildings, as a reminder. There's a lot of infrastructure, which we'll talk about. And then the second one is the Kent Police Facility, which is over here to the left of us. And while they also have some infrastructure needs, we are tackling some of that in this project. They, unfortunately, have such issues with capacity and structure of their operations there, which I'll talk about here in a minute. So those were kind of the 2 that really came to the forefront of the condition assessment. And then obviously our maintenance facilities, but you all have addressed that with Keyhawk, which will be opening up later this year. So City Hall, as a reminder, built in 1971, it's 54 years old. It was identified again as the most highest urgent need. It was pretty much deemed programmatically obsolete, and what that really just means is that if you look at today's codes, even after we did some seismic retrofitting in 2002, this building would not meet current code standards nor best practice in how we operate both as a city council and as a city staff. It lacks adequate space for staff. It's got a lot of different compartmental issues, and the deficiency alone in this building ranged from anywhere from 21 million to 27 million, depending on how we package it. A lot of the infrastructure that's needed here is seismic, electrical, mechanical, plumbing. So we do all that big investment, and what you see is exactly what we're going to get after the fact, which is what led us down a path of trying to think a little differently about what is the best thing for us to do with the investments we need to make. The police department, a little bit different. They've had long-standing challenges. They're currently located in a 51-year-old building. They did move in 1991, so about 34 years. Began as a temporary solution. 3 decades later, they're still in there. They have the same issues with some different types of infrastructure challenges there. Again, we're going to be addressing some of those in the project. One of their challenges is just the facility. They have outgrown the facility. Quite frankly, they outgrew the facility 20 years ago. They've got 2 to 3 officers all doubling up on desk spaces. If anybody's toured that, which I know you all have, they're just walking all over each other. We already know we're at risk with how we're tracking and storing our evidence. They've already been put on notice on that through their accreditation process. And obviously just the general safety and security systems to really be a modern police department today has been very challenging. So as you can see from there, we kind of then went from, well, we got to update City Council on this one. 2023 is the first time we actually presented to you all the results of the condition assessments, and we began introducing a lot of strategies on, how should we do this? We even considered at the time, do we build a whole brand new police department facility? Unfortunately, when we kind of ran numbers on that, that cost was so high, we just knew we couldn't pull it off here at the city, so we went back to the drawing board and we kept trying to work through things. Pretty lucky, I would say it's an unforeseen but definitely welcome opportunity came our way. In middle of 2024, we had the chance to purchase a new Class A office space that was located in the Centerpoint Business Park, located off of 68th Avenue in Kent. That's about a little over 3 miles from this city campus. And it used to be used as a call center for the BECU, for the Boeing Employees Credit Union. And really, it was that moment that changed everything. We were really able to look differently at, if we purchase this building, this is what we could really do with this space on campus. So on October 1st in 24, staff presented kind of our most updated recommendation to council on everything we've done, every scenario we've explored, and we did recommend that we did want to purchase this building. That was done, and council approved the purchase of this new building on October 8th through a special council meeting. So we do now have that. We call that the Administrative Services Building, ASB. I just want to caution everybody, that's just a working title. We haven't really locked the official name, but that's just kind of what we're calling it right now. So after that, we knew we were running. That was the time that we needed to start going. We did hunt down and put Athenian Group on just a small professional services contract. That was when you all met with them and gave them your thoughts. Staff met with them multiple different times to really continue to re-vet and make sure that we were on the right track for the project. And then we did another formal presentation to City Council in March of 25, kind of the, here we go, here's the budget, here's what we want to do, and again, got the support and authorization to move forward. So since then, there has been a ton of work done on the behind the scenes. And what you'll see tonight, Tanya gets to share all the cool stuff, but I want to make sure you understand how much work is going into certain things. Just to produce a floor plan for draft consideration, Athenian had met with every single department, including yourselves, multiple times to identify current and future growth, storage and conference room needs, everything else just to show a draft floor plan. So while it shows a floor plan, there is a lot of thought, a lot of data on the behind the scenes to make sure that we're getting it right. I did want to warn everybody, everything you see tonight is evolution. It's what we know today. We are continuing to evolve, and we are more than committed to sharing updates with you on a regular basis. It's a plan that's grounded in fiscal responsibility. I promise you, we know our budget and we know we can't go over it. I'm pretty sure we've all signed in blood. We all joke about that. But that's also why we all chose to go through the GCCM process for this, to make sure we could manage this very tight and achieve what we needed to do. And so I'm obviously honored to help lead this work, and again, deeply grateful. So before I pass it on to Tanya and let him give you all the good scoop, is there any questions for me? And then I'll stay up here just in case, regardless.
Just a comment.
Yes.
Truly, truly thank you for your leadership. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Anyone else? All right, Tanya, and I will send it up to you.
Okay, thank you so much for having me tonight. Some incredible presentations tonight on a number of topics, and I think just underscores the the nature of what we're trying to do with this program, to provide better opportunities, setup, and capabilities to empower city staffs to really support these incredible causes in our city. So it's always, really humbling to hear those when you're building projects like this and otherwise. So first off, I want to introduce myself. For those of you that might not know, my name is Tanya Farley. I'm the Senior Vice President of Client Solutions at Athenian Group. We are a firm that focuses on program and change management, primarily in the municipal space, helping wonderful cities like you not only enable your employees and your community to thrive and grow, but to support you in your infrastructure challenges as you move into the next generation of your city. So what I'd like to do tonight is take you through a little bit of where we're at in the program. So as Julie mentioned, since we came on board, we've spent a lot of time with city staff, with yourselves, with leaders that we need to meet with and otherwise, to figure out, number one, how do we want to drive this program? You've probably heard me say this before, but I'll say it again. A program like this has thousands and thousands of decisions that are made every single day, and To be able to anchor to your North Star on a project like this, to make sure that you're delivering on the goals of the program you want, you have to make sure you have a couple key guiding goals to align against. And so we spent time with you guys, we spent time with city staff, with city leadership, and we looked at, what is important to this community, what is important to this city for us to anchor on as we go forward. And so we came back with really 6 operating goals that we as a project team work to every single day and work with our ELT and leadership team. So the first is modernizing operations and technology for the future, right? Understanding that the way the city of Kent does business today will not be the way it does business in the future, as Julie mentioned, the growth that's already happened, and being able to support that. Strengthening civic pride and community engagement, making sure there's a place for the public to come and have events like this, make comments, and drive overall community development. Support enhanced public accessibility and experience, making sure that they feel comfortable coming to speak at events like this, to work with you, to work with economic and community development, and all the great things that the city does. Prioritize employee well-being. One of the things that we know from our programs around the country is that, behind salary, where you work and who you work with are the next most important things that people look for. And so when you're thinking about top talent, when you're thinking about supporting a growing police department and otherwise, you have to have facilities to support that. You have to ensure sustainable operations. When I think about sustainability, it's not just materials or otherwise, it's how do we set up the operations to be sufficient, to be efficient as you move forward. And so thinking about how you structure locations, how you structure business processes, but ultimately how you drive the organizational alignment to make that happen. And then finally, strengthen security and efficiency for our police and council functions. We know that as the city grows, as the city changes, these are things that are important. You have to walk a fine line between security and being welcoming and inviting. So that's something we think about every single day. So what are the projects in this scope? Julie mentioned a couple of them, which is the Kent City Hall that we're standing here today, that has some wonderful bones and otherwise, but has some serious issues that needed to be overcome, and hence the program driving where it needs to go. You have the Centennial Center right across the way, which, as you'll see in a moment, will be the future home of our police headquarters, which is fantastic. The Kent Police Department facility, the annex associated just across from the Centennial Building, the Administrative Services Building, which is once again a working title at this point in time, of that facility that's the former BECU facility, and then the on-site parking garage of this civic campus. So as you can see, lots of facilities in scope, lots of moving pieces. Making sure that you get the sequence right is going to be very important, but provides a lot of opportunity for the city to really grow and improve in a number of areas, specifically in their ability to serve the community. So key components of this project, when I think about the Administrative Services Building, there's a couple things that I want to highlight there. Number one, that facility was a call center in the past. It had a number of functions. I can tell you when you walk into that facility today, it is neither welcoming nor inviting, right? And doesn't provide a lot for employees to feel great about. However, that's why we're looking at renovating that facility. Now, we're doing one of the most sustainable things you can do, which is renovating an existing facility, right? We're not demoing that facility and building brand new, right? We're renovating from the inside, which is fantastic. We're going to create a new public space for development services and economic and community development to interact with the community, and creating spaces for folks to come and be, as well as bringing shared natural daylight into spaces. There's a lot of folks across the city that haven't worked in areas with natural daylight, and it's incredible what it does, what the studies say for your overall well-being and productivity. The new Kent Police Headquarters. As Julie mentioned, the current facility is a bit old, number one, but number two is significantly undersized for the functions of what that police department does, where they're growing, and all the amazing things they do in the community and will continue to do. And so the new police headquarters located at the Centennial facility will provide not only ample space at move-in, but will provide ample space for growth over the next 20 to 30 years, which is fantastic. It also provides for some new functions centralized in that facility, bringing folks together, putting investigations together on one floor, and really creating a space that I think will be cohesive for operations, but also centralizes those functions. The new council chambers facility will create a place that not only has a new council chamber itself that's better for the public and otherwise, but also have a work session area, we'll have council office space, we'll have space for public meeting and other functions like that. And so really makes the most of a very unique facility on a unique site. And then the demo of this facility and the turn of this site into a civic plaza, so creating really a civic center for the city. As mentioned, this facility has some significant issues to overcome, and by retrofitting the space into more of a plaza and supporting the other three facilities, you create a heart in the city of Kent that you can grow with for future, which is fantastic. So why Civic Campus? Why is that important for the city of Kent? Why is that what's come out of the study? And I think a couple key components. Number one, we heard from all of you that the city of Kent needs to maintain a strong presence here in the downtown core of Kent, and we agree with you, right? And so this space creates not only a place for the police headquarters and council chambers for the public, but also creates a place for people to be and people to spend time within the city and otherwise. And so it strengthens that civic identity of what Kent is, the collaborative, city that it is, and focuses on really bringing together multicultural functions and otherwise. It optimizes the use of the site as a whole. We worked with ECD and other functions to look at what potential use cases could be for this City Hall site, for the old KPD facility, and there's just really not much when it comes to how the site could be modernized other than the Civic Campus, which we're excited about. Downtown vitality, bringing a place for events and community gatherings and otherwise going forward, and then ultimately long-term investment. This is something that's a 50-year investment for the city of Kent that provides for flexibility and growth in all three facilities. You can think about not only does the ASB facility have significant growth potential, so does Centennial, and then your council chambers will be very flexible as far as things you can do there and community events. Ultimately, there's a couple key components of our project scope that I want to highlight. Number one, we're looking at multiple options from a strategic approach perspective to make sure that we can support continuity of operations for our city functions, right? We know that there's a monumental change taking place with this program, but the services still have to run. KPD has to maintain a 24/7 operation, a number of elements like that. So we'll be working very closely with city staff, with you guys, with the mayor and otherwise, to make sure that we can keep that as a focus throughout the program. Number two is coordinated relocation of all the locations to make sure that we can be as efficient as possible in our project delivery. We talk about maximizing the municipal dollar, and that's something we focus on here. Thinking about how we can have departmental adjacencies to support not only, we call them happy collisions, right, but those interactions in the hallway, but how can we improve our employee experience together? How can we empower our employees to work together, to innovate? All those things come together when you create places like this. And so key benefits, enhanced citizen experience with overall public service functions, not only at ASB, but for the police and for the council chamber facility as a whole. Improved operational efficiency with all those modernized workspaces. When you think about creating huddle spaces for our planning department or our group within ECD to work together, to go look at plans together, pull them up on a screen. There's a lot of efficiency that can be had there. Cross-departmental functions, when you think about parks and public works and ECD being able to work together in a single space, there's a lot of incredible efficiencies that take place there. Thinking about a cohesive civic campus down here in the heart of Kent, what that means for the community, and ultimately upgraded safety and security. As we bring people in the facility, we want them to feel safe, we want them to be able to navigate the spaces, and ultimately we want you as the council members to feel safe and interact in those capacities. So all things that are important there going forward. And then last but not least, we've talked about the sustainability functions of the design of the facility. We're also looking at, with our build out going forward, how can we make it maintainable for the city going forward? We at Athenian think about total cost of ownership when we do all of our programs, right? It's not just about the capital investment or the cool new things you can get now, but how can your city support it? So we're talking about with IT, what does that mean to licensing long term? With parks and facilities, what does that mean for your maintenance costs and otherwise? So those are things that we consider now in the planning stage, so you don't have surprises later. Along the way, it's not just us. I wish that I could draw and build and all those things, but we can't do all those things. And so we brought on some amazing partners following extensive public solicitations and a number of vehicles available to us here in the state of Washington. Our first partner that we brought on board through public competition and solicitation was ARC Architects. They were an incredible vendor that submitted against a number of other vendors through that process. They were selected by a cross-functional team here at the City of Kent that included folks from Parks and Police and ECD, the mayor's group, and a number of others to make sure that we really had the right group to benefit all parts of the city. So they've come on board really since June, have focused on the preliminary design functions, which include programming, where people can fit, how many people we can fit in spaces, and ultimately making sure that this program is the right fit for you guys. We've also brought on just recently our general contractor construction manager through the state GCCM process. This is a great process which allows us maximal control over the scope and cost, really keeping a lid on what we're doing, but also bringing in a partner early in the process to help us with critical components like project sequencing, construction alternatives, and cost estimating services, which, in the world we live in today, there's crazy inflation that comes in and out quarterly, depending on what the president tweets and other things. So those are things that we're tracking with our partners throughout the journey. So we've selected Skanska as our partner on this program. Skanska is a national leader in municipal program delivery. They bring over 100 years of experience across the United States, a lot of strong experience locally. But I think more importantly, why did we choose Skanska for this program? We had 8 bids that came in for this program with a wide range from very small firms to really large firms. And a couple things that stuck out for us about Skanska that helped them in their scoring. Number one, their commitment to a collaborative delivery effort was really important to us. Bringing the right people to the table at the right time to make decisions early in the process is important to our component. They bring extensive experience in GCCM in the state of Washington, help to navigate the best ways to work with us, work with ARC Architects, work with the city to deliver your program, and ultimately, they too believed in finding the best ways to spend the municipal dollar. They want to find ways to stretch. They want to find ways to be as efficient as possible to get as much as we can in this program and for the community. So our selection process, not easy, not a straightforward process, very rigorous, and it's intentional, right, to make sure you get the right partner involved. And so we started this process really in June and, just completed our notification of firms 2 weeks ago and are working through negotiations right now with Skanska. So we're excited about our vendors. We have our 2 key partners on board in ARC Architects and in Skanska, and are looking forward to really moving forward with the program. So in addition to all of the contracting pieces, all the procurement, all the fun things that happen there, what else have we been doing, right? So we've worked with ARC Architects, the city, our steering committee, and our internal Athenian team to come up with some initial floor plans and concepts for the facility. So it's a little whitewashed on this program. I hope it's better in the printout. If not, we can send a little bit of an enhanced version. But a couple things of note. So number one, the administrative services facility is about 81,000 square foot total, about 40,000 square foot each plate. It is very open. It's kind of like a blank canvas, which is awesome for what we get to do as a program here. We get to really build it out the way that you guys need it for your facility. And so what does that include? So a couple key elements. I'm not going to go through all the pieces on here, but on floor 1, do I have a laser pointer? Oh, I like this, like a little flashlight here. Sorry, I've never had this. I've done a lot of council presentations, never had that. So in our main entryway here, you get a new customer service center for ECD and finance and otherwise with all the support staff right here behind, creates a nice welcoming, inviting space. We also create a number of shared meeting spaces for city staff across the way, and you can see just a couple of preliminary concepts here. There's still a long way to go here, but really shows meeting spaces in between departments, which means we'll be having those collaboration components that naturally occur through planned space making, but also creates places for departments to interact together. We're also looking at some key components like how do we make sure that we get shared daylight into the facility, so putting workstations around the outside and putting offices and conference rooms towards the middle, really making sure that we can share that daylight, maximize the space, number one, but number two, helps us with our lighting efficiency and being as sustainable as possible there. So this facility is going to include the finance department, ECD, IT departments, key components like that on the first floor, legal and mayor's office, ECD and public works and parks. So a number of functions in this facility. We're still working through kind of the last parts and pieces of this, and we'll be working through the design sequence with ARC Architects this fall. So more to come on that, but we're really excited about transforming that facility from a true corporate office park space into a municipal location for our city staff and for the public to come and work with the city, which is fantastic. Our new police headquarters for the city of Kent. So yeah, these got pretty whitewashed out, but that's good. That's good. That's good to know. It's okay. I get to visualize it for you, which is fantastic. So this is a 4-story facility plus the annex, and a couple things of note here. We plan to have a public lobby space at that location, which will make it so folks can come in for records requests and otherwise. We're considering space for where the city clerk will be in that function, and so that's still kind of TBD. We're looking at options, and we'll definitely talk to you and staff about that as we move forward. But it's planned for police to occupy all floors of this facility in some capacity, and making sure that we bring core functions with PD together in the space. They'll also occupy the annex and the back really partition lodge will become the new bullpen and otherwise. Some benefits of this is we get to bring together a lot of functions within PD that have either been A, overcrowded in different spaces, or B, have been separated between Centennial and the KPD facility today. We get to bring what I think is a much better workflow for PD to get in and out of the space with the bullpen and otherwise. And then we get to really centralize some of the evidence functions that they work with day in and day out to drive forward. So I think for PD, some incredible functions there. For the public and otherwise, tying in off the plaza development of the site, safety, security, parking, entry of egress and access, I think this is really a win for what we're doing. And as I mentioned earlier, this is a design that will not only support the needs of today for KPD, but also includes planning for the next 20 years as well, which is fantastic. And then last but definitely not least, right, our new council chambers facility. So a couple things of note that I talked to you guys about in our council retreat earlier this year was the importance of creating a couple different spaces for you guys within the council chambers facility. So obviously a new and improved public chamber that makes it easier for folks to come and speak and not only be here in person but participate virtually, experience the meeting virtually, a work session space that allow you guys to come together and collaborate on issues, work through topics, listen to presentations, be able to look each other eye to eye and work through, an office space for you guys as council members to be and meet with members of the public, meet with community organizations, etc. And so we've created several spaces like that for you guys. But things that have also kind of evolved with this program as we're able to add this facility to the program is the ability to have some additional public meeting space here, right? Some potential for rentable public meeting space, multi-function components and otherwise. Some benefits of this facility that we really enjoy. Number one, the entry and egress, the experience getting to and from this facility is going to be great on the site as it becomes a civic campus. It also creates a lot of opportunity for you guys to grow in the space. These are spaces that are bigger than what you have today, and we'll be able to improve the technology and experience for folks, not only for easeability of use for boards and commissions, but for the public and otherwise. So excited about what that brings to you with this campus as well. So we talk a lot about the build of this project, and I've told Julie this, and we talk about this with ELT all the time, but if this project was just building facilities, it would be easy, right? Unfortunately, it's not, right? It includes a transformation of how city staff work, how the public interacts with the programs and otherwise, and so what does that mean? That means we need to have early and often communications, transparent communications throughout the project. So how do we bring that to life? We have something at Athenian called the Employee Voice Program, which focuses on bringing information from city staff about how they work, how they want to work, pain points, etc., early in the program. So those can be considered in design, both of the spaces, the furniture, the technology, and otherwise. We have regular project updates with our ELT group, through the mayor's videos, with our recently released Kent newsletter, the One Kent Moves newsletter, which the first one will come out tomorrow. We have a One Kent box as well, email box that folks can send questions into. We've also started and released an internal SharePoint site about the program that city staff can get access to all the latest information on. We're working collaboratively with the multimedia group to release a public-facing website about project status updates and otherwise, so the public can start to understand where the functions they interface with are going to be moving to. They can see frequently asked questions or otherwise. We're going to be launching and driving a move management program. I don't know how many of you have moved recently, but it's not the most fun thing, right? So it's something that we plan way in advance on to make sure that not only can city staff get there seamlessly, but number two, can we make sure we maintain operations during that period? So that's something we start with early on. And then providing informational resources, not only to city staff, but eventually to the public about how they can best interface with this facility. And last, but definitely not least, is our interactions with you, right, and ergo the community. And so we think about our quarterly updates to you guys we'll have here, but also interactions in small group on key topics as we move forward with the council chamber and otherwise, working collaboratively with yourselves and the mayor to make sure that we really bring the input of Kent into this facility as we go forward. So lots to work through as we go there. No shortage of communications, as you can see. Our motto is to communicate early and often, and oftentimes to over-communicate, right? So important pieces we want to drive there. So where are we at? Project timeline. I was joking earlier that we're going to move you guys tomorrow, but that's obviously not true. So we are looking right now, we are in late 2025, Q3 at this point in time. With the way we're tracking, we see probably the final, site development moves into the council chambers, KPD and otherwise, sometime in 2028. There's the opportunity to move the schedule to the left, pending some sequence and otherwise. But there's some things we'll navigate as we go along the way as far as how we bring the council chamber live and whatnot. So lots to work out here. There are going to be some key trade-offs we'll talk about with city staff and ELT as far as how we deliver an efficient program that keeps city functions live, but wanted to give you guys kind of the latest picture of where we're at. And obviously when we come back to update you guys later this fall, we'll have an updated timeline with our GCCM input as well as kind of where our design schedule is. Overall, our budget, as Julie mentioned early on, is the budget we'll manage throughout the program. It's why we went with the GCCM vehicle through the state. It's why we've really focused on driving strong project requirements and programs early on, is to make sure that we can have a number that we manage against throughout the program and talk through, how we make those decisions against the project goals. And so, as you see here, covers the key categories of the project. So renovation and site improvements, obviously the bulk of the dollars here as you think about the brick and mortar construction, FF&E, so our IT, AV, furniture, security, signage, all those types of things that fall into that. Our program partners that support this project, inspection, design, and otherwise. Building infrastructure, major maintenance, we have some roof replacements and otherwise that have to be done, as well as interim utility costs for these facilities we go through. And then obviously, some additional owner contingency. One thing I'll note is that the numbers you're seeing on the preliminary budget side all include the contingency carried by the GCCM contractor as well. So we have contingency on both sides of the table that sit at a really good margin for us overall. So total program cost sits, as you see there, at about $50 million. And includes, estimates at this point in time. So as we move forward into our early pre-construction phase with our GCCM contractor this fall, we'll be working on refining those estimates, talking about the buckets of dollars we have in different places, and really working to hone in on numbers that we stick to as we go through the program. So excited about kind of where we sit here and managing against that going forward. So where do we go next? Obviously a lot of information to cover. But a lot more to go as we go forward here. I think Julie and I were talking about this earlier, but some of this feels like you're getting ready for the drag race, right? And you finally pulled up to the starting line, which is exciting. All the work that's gone on behind the scenes. I mean, I can't thank the city leadership team, your guidance, and the support of the staff as a whole for this project. We get the opportunity to lead a number of these around the country, and I can tell you that having a city staff, having a council, having a leadership team that is bought into making this the best program that it can be is going to pay dividends on the long end and makes our job really fun to participate in, which is great. So where are we now? We're in our design phase. As part of the GCCM process with the state, we will be going into schematic design next. We'll move into detailed design after that, and then we'll move into construction documents after that. And so really we're anticipating design being done with the program in January. Depending on how we phase the project as far as the facilities, there may be some components that move off, on or off of that, but the ASB facility we anticipate being done at that point in time. So, lots of time between here and now that we'll be interacting with staff and you guys and otherwise, but the design is going to move really, really fast. Our pre-construction activities will be September to December, and that includes some early scopes of work. Think about looking at existing facilities to understand the insides of them to make sure we have no surprises later, right? So that's something that we've done to help mitigate risk on the program, as well as estimation and overall feasibility of the program, making sure we can understand any risks early on. We anticipate starting real construction other than early demo and some early packages in April of next year at the ASB facility. And then really our move program will start just after that, getting folks ready to move into the ASB facility. So as Julie mentioned, this is going to be a very rapidly moving program now as we go forward, and I promise you any chance we have to make this program even more efficient time-wise, we will, but we also know that this is, the one shot for the city to do this right, and so we want to make sure that, we plan efficiently here and then deliver, as effectively as we can going forward. So, I covered a lot of information tonight, and I know you guys have a lot of topics to cover this evening and otherwise, and so I wanted to be as expedient as possible. But I just want to say thank you for the support of the council to this point. I think we're excited about where we go next with the program, and with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right. Thank you, Tanyan. First question is from Councilmember Boyce.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you very much. Excellent presentation. Got a couple questions here. The continuous fee, how do you guys determine that? It's like $3 million, and that's based on?
The contingency fee, sorry. So we have about 15% overall built in, spread out between the hard costs up top through the contractors and then an owner's contingency up top. And so we, in the early planning phases, like to stay between 15 and 20%. As we work through the detailed design estimates with the contractor, that number will dwindle down, right? So we'll be able to kind of go down to a lower mitigation fee, usually somewhere between 3 and 7% in total.
And Juliana, you might answer this question. The Centennial building is for the police, right? Right now, we're at roughly 170 police officers, give and take. Is that designed if someday money start falling out of the sky and we can reach out potential for 200 police officers? Yes. Take that into consideration.
Yeah, definitely. So we have 20 years of growth built in that facility. I can tell you that right now in the program we're considering, there's significant, almost potentially 25% growth built into what we have in that facility. If not more, I think there's opportunities for efficient building design we can do early on, which means we could build in some modular wall systems to be able to accommodate more, but could easily accommodate that number for certain.
Last question. General contract is very huge. It's been around for a long time. I like the fact that you do have local subcontractors and then the diversity suppliers built in there. So that's a big plus because it gives the people in the area a chance to be part of the process. So I'm assuming you guys will be monitoring that and make sure.
Yes. So a key component of the GCCM selection protocol is the subcontractor outreach program. And so that's one of the components that's scored as a part of the selection process. We really liked, Skanska scored the highest in their subcontractor outreach program as well for a number of reasons. Number one, they took a look as a part of their bid package of what contractors in and around the Kent region would be available and would be good fits for this program. So they came already with pre-work done, which none of the other contractors did, which I thought was fantastic. Number two, they talked about how to break up bid packages in this project, which is something we strongly believe in at Athenian, to make it so that smaller businesses can be involved, right? So think about, taking big interior drywall packages, breaking it up into smaller parts so that smaller subs and GCs can be involved. And then number three, as a part of the state programs for alternative delivery like GCCM, they are committed to the 15% apprenticeship program as a part of this for trade. So lots of opportunity to have folks involved. That's something that as we go to the outreach and otherwise, Skanska will be hosting events. We'll be posting all that information on the public-facing website. It'll have a list of all the forthcoming bids. It's an important part of what we do at Athenian and an important part of what we'll do here for this program.
This is probably for Dana or Pat, and this probably haven't gotten this for yet, but all the police here, right? There's going to be a police present in the ASB almost full time. How do you think about security, right? Types of building. I was wondering, have you guys?
Yeah, we're talking about this kind of substation concept for the building. So we've had those conversations, but we'll address that in design.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I do want to add council's willingness and openness to look at repurposing the current police station, the old library. Not only does it provide council with a much better space able to accommodate the needs and create some of that community space, but it also does allow for that extra capacity in the Centennial building for growth should the money start falling out of the sky. I feel like we're going to start, yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Troutner.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, thank you again for being here and keeping council along through this project. I think it's really important for our feedback, and I know you're already doing that with staff. But just to kind of get an idea of space, so the new council chambers, it says preliminary, like 2,300 square feet. And I know you can design things to make them look bigger, but how big is this space?
Yeah, so it'll be about 25% larger than this current space, but a couple key components. So number one, we will have, one of the advantages of the facility that we're discussing over here is it also provides a higher ceiling plane similar to this facility. So we'll have good camera angles, good acoustics, and otherwise that was a concern that we had at the other facility at Centennial just with the ceiling height. So not only do you have, better structural components, but you have some room for expansion. The other thing we're looking at is how do we make the speaker experience better? And so, candidly, this is not a great experience for a public speaker. And so I think about, how can we create places for people to be and feel comfortable as we go through that? And then how do you support the overall multimedia experience so people can see and understand what's going on? So, it's about a 25% increase in space. We're looking at different options for that and the work session as far as modular capacity for other functions, but that's kind of where we sit.
Thank you.
Having council be able to go back to, Bill, you will remember this, Councilmember Boyce, Councilmember Fincher, when the table was in the back and council was able to sit around the table and actually have conversations, look at each other, discuss things with staff, that workspace will allow that to come back. And I don't know about you all, but it is something that I really miss, being able to look at everybody all at one time and have those conversations. I think it'll really facilitate the work that you are doing, having that space to be together. So. All right, I don't see any other questions at this time, so we'll go ahead and move on in the presentation.
Thanks. I'm just going to introduce Michelle Ferguson, who's going to come up and talk about bond financing.
Michelle D, no introduction.
Good evening, Council. I am bringing forth the ordinance authorizing limited tax general obligation and refunding bonds. So this ordinance authorizes the issuance of up to $57 million in new money, limited tax general obligation bonds, and up to $45 million in refunding bonds. So the ordinance is made up of a few different components, and so we're going to start off with the municipal campus relocation project that Tanya and Julia just talked about. So, and that's the main reason for issuing these bonds, is to pay for the cost related to that project. So expenditures spent or budgeted to date totaled $12.7 million. And then the cost of the projects that were shown in the previous slides totaled $50.768 million for a total cost of $63.5 million. The funding to pay for the $63.5 million comes from a few different sources, and that's going to be $11.4 million of reallocated project funding. So coming from different projects that have already been budgeted. And there's going to be a bond issuance of around $47.1 million and a general fund contribution of around $5 million. So while we're issuing these bonds, there's going to, the amounts of bonds is going to be also to fund a portion of the Kent East Hill Operations Center. The $5.5 million has already been budgeted, but we're going to take that $5.5 million, return it to its source to free up some cash flow to fund other projects during this time frame, and then fund that portion with bond proceeds, bond issuance. So the total cost is going to be $69 million. So again, the 11.4 that's already been budgeted, and then a bond issuance of around $52.6 million and a general fund contribution of around $5 million. So the ordinance notes that it could be up to $57 million, and that is going to be the face value of the bonds. The face value is the fixed amount that the bond issuer, the city, agrees to repay the bondholder at maturity. The bond price is the current market value of the bond, which investors pay to buy it. So it can fluctuate based on interest rate changes, the credit rate of us, the city issuing it, the time remaining until maturity, as well as market demand. So the general fund contribution is going to be up to $8.3 million. So if the face value is below or above, depends if we have to, the general fund needs to kick in extra money or not. So the $8.3 million was partially based on the funding need as well, but the 8.3 was decided. That is the amount in 2024 that was added to fund balance in the general fund, made up of savings in expenditures and extra revenues minus carry forwards done that year.
Councilmember Boyce.
Please forgive me. I know we talked about this. There have been a lot of dollar figures, so please forgive me. So the 11.4 million, right, were those projects that we have already allocated funding for, and now based on going this direction, we don't necessarily need that money for the project, and we're taking it elsewhere for here?
Yes, so in the 23-24 biennial budget, council authorized $10 million overall for facilities reinvestment, and it was to fix some deficiencies within the City Hall campus. And then there were some other projects that were earmarked for fixes as well that don't need to happen.
Thank you, Michelle.
All right, so coupled with this ordinance is also going to be the 2016 bond refinancing. In May of 2025, the governor signed into law House Bill 1109, which extends the Public Facilities District's collections of sales tax for up to 55 years from when the tax is first collected. The Public Facilities District in Kent was authorized in 2008, and then those bonds were refinanced in 2016. Those bonds are set to mature in 2037. So based on this new bill, we can extend the life of those bonds and collect that sales tax for additional years. So just so you know, those sales tax is not charged to Kent, is not an additional charge to Kent residents. It's a tax rate is credited against the sales tax rate, which means it does not increase the total sales tax paid by residents.
Okay.
So we're just basically kind of taking money from the state.
Makes sense.
And so there is 43.235 million eligible for refinancing. And the amount of sales tax that the PFD gets per year is around $1.4 million. So we'll be able to extend the life of those, which reduce the payment per year and collect that additional funds. So the city is going to begin work on the preliminary official statement between November 2025 and January of 2026. And during that time frame, the city staff will also work with Standard & Poor's to update the city's bond rating. Then bond pricing will take place in February, with the bond closing and delivery of bond proceeds occurring in March. Then in May/June, when everything is finalized, the finance team will provide a report to council describing the final terms and conditions of the new money and the refinancing. Questions?
Councilmember Boyce.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Excuse me. Going back to the refinancing, so you said about 43 million that need to be refinanced, right? So the advantage of that, is that because you get a lower rate, or is it really just based on extending the sales tax?
We're not really sure what the rate is going to be in the next few months when we issue it. It's mostly so we can collect that extra sales tax beyond 2037.
Well, the rate need to be lower than what it is now, though, right?
The total bond payment per year will be lower.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions for Michelle? Okay, I'm not seeing any.
Well, I'm going to hand it off to Tammy for the resolution then.
Are you the closer?
I am the closer, Tammy White, City Attorney. I hope you're all still with me. There's a whole lot of information that you got from both Julie, Tanya, and Michelle as well. So tonight you are asked to take two formal actions. So the first one is to adopt the bond ordinance that Michelle just talked to you about. That bond ordinance, if you were to adopt the motion before you, would authorize the bonds to be issued to fund this project, the Municipal Campus Relocation Project, to fund a portion of the Kent East Hill Operations Center, and that was the $5.5 million that Michelle talked to you about, and then also to issue those refunding bonds. So those actions would be all authorized through that ordinance. The resolution that I'm talking to you about is specifically related to this Municipal Campus Relocation Project. My motion sheet before you does kind of highlight the 5 things that resolution before you will do, but it is broad and all-encompassing. So I do kind of want to go through those specific actions that we're asking you to authorize tonight. So one is that you would authorize all phases of the project. And so just to clarify again the information that Julie and Tanya went over with you, that would include all of the remodel work, so the design, the construction, and completion at the Administrative Services Building, the work over at the Centennial Center to help accommodate our police department, as well as revisions that are needed to the parking center and also to the annex building, to the current police department building that will now be the new Chambers building, and then also eventually to demolish this existing facility that we're in now, the City Hall, to create a new Civic Plaza. So again, that would approve all phases of the project. Additionally, you would establish the project budget for this campus relocation. That would be the $63.5 million overall project budget. Now, what that consists of is the information that Michelle went over with you, but just sort of at a high level. It's the 11.25 that we've already spent when we acquired ASB originally last year. It includes an additional 1.5 million that was spent or budgeted to date in related project costs so far that have been incurred or budgeted to occur related to the ASB building. And then also this additional 50.7 million, which is needed to complete the construction of all of these different phases. So that all in total is the 63.5 million before you. That budget would be in this current biennium and then carry forward into future budgets until the project is completed. Now, as Michelle was talking to you about certain numbers that could fluctuate, that's all going to depend upon when the decision is made to issue the bonds and what is the interest rate at that time. And so depending upon what that rate is, some of those numbers might need to adjust, which is the amount of money that is from the I'm going to use the term wrong, but from the fund balance. So what is that contribution? Right now, they're anticipating 5 million, but authorizing the up to 8.3. So that's where that's important, that up to amount. Same thing for the bond proceeds. Right now, Michelle had told you the amount that they're estimating to use for bond proceeds, but it could go up to 51.5 million. Again, that's all going to be dependent upon the interest rate and what it is at that time. And so because it can fluctuate, this ordinance would allow that fluctuation as well based on the authority that you would give to the finance director. You would also authorize the finance director to amend the project budget and the city's biennium budget to reallocate funds as necessary once the bonds are issued. So when the bonds come in and we have those proceeds, there's administrative steps on the financing side that need to be done to put the money into the budget and to authorize expenditures. This resolution before you would authorize the finance director to make those amendments that are needed to the budget, and then it would come to you through one of the quarterly budget adjustment ordinances. The resolution would also give the mayor the authority that she needs to negotiate and to sign all contracts needed to construct this project, whether it's the design, the construction, the demolition. It would include the two current contractors that we have now, the ARC Architects, Inc., as well as Skanska. I'm probably saying that wrong. But it would authorize both of those contracts, would also authorize the mayor to make any change orders or contract amendments as needed to keep the project moving forward. One of the benefits of the GCCM process is that it allows changes to happen in the field, which helps to keep the cost down. So instead of having to work around council meeting schedules and coming in to have a special meeting to get authorization needed so Tanya's team can move forward, this resolution would delegate that authority to the mayor so she can make the changes in the field that are needed, keeping those so long as everything is within the budget that you've already established. So if anything was going to exceed the project budget or the city budget, it would require additional approval through you. But otherwise, if it can be contained within that, the mayor would have the authority to proceed. Council would also authorize the mayor to take any other action. So in drafting this resolution, if there wasn't something specific that we could think of that we might need the authorization for the mayor to do so, there's broader authority that would say if we need to get a special permit or if there's some other kind of approval that we didn't anticipate that we need, but it's needed to get the project done. Through this resolution, you would give the mayor the authority to move forward with that. And I think that covers it all. But if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them to the best of my ability. If you have questions specific on the bonds, I do have bond counsel. Thank you, Deanna Gregory from Pacific Law Group, from being here. It's a very specialized area of law, so she's helped us with that ordinance. So if you have any questions specific on bonds, I would punt it to my partner over there. But otherwise, let me know if there's anything I can answer for you.
Councilmember Boyce.
This is probably more for Pat, right? And I totally support giving the mayor and finance authorization to kind of move the project along because things are going to be happening pretty quick. So I'm just curious what the process is going to be to kind of keep the council update as we make these changes and things come about. Because I know they're going to be happening pretty quick, right? So not that you need to call us every minute, but have you thought about how you're going to keep us engaged about what's going on throughout the project?
Yeah, so we will have, of course, a quarterly update, but that's not fast enough. I understand that. So when we have major changes, I don't think council is going to be really concerned with the fact that we have a minor change because of a drywall issue or something like that. But major changes, I will keep you apprised of all those. Julie and I will put together a system where we can communicate that with you guys. And we'll probably do it by email because it's just the quickest way to communicate. We don't have to worry about other issues. And then would, welcome phone calls in response to emails to explain things if they need further explanation. So.
Totally get the concept because this is going to be going
Oh, it's
pretty
gonna
quick,
be going
lots of
quick.
changes, and totally get it. So I just want to, you answer my question. Thank you.
Councilmember Troutner.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Tammy, to go back, you said the project budget is the 63.5 million, but the total is the 69.
So the 69 would include the Key Hawk. So that's the 5.5 million. So the 63.5 that I was referring to is only this municipal campus relocation project.
Okay.
So separate from that, there's that 5.5 million are funds for the Kent East Hill Operations Facility that would be used with that portion of the bond proceeds.
Okay. Thank you.
Other questions? Okay, I am not seeing any. Council, there's two actions before you. The first one is an ordinance authorizing 2026 limited tax general obligation bonds for city facilities and 2016 bond refunding. Is there a motion?
Madam Mayor, I move to adopt ordinance number 4521, authorizing the issuance of one or more series of limited tax general obligations and refunding bonds, delegating authority to approve the method of sale and final terms of the bonds, and to amend budgets as necessary upon receipt of bond proceeds, and approving other related matters as provided for in the ordinance.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? You seeing none? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Council, the next item before you is a resolution approving the municipal campus relocation project and authorizing all contracts and other actions needed to complete. Is there a motion?
Madam Mayor, I move to adopt resolution number 2095, approving all phases of the municipal campus relocation project.
Second. I'm sorry.
And authorizing the mayor to move forward with the complete project, to negotiate and sign all necessary contracts, and to take all other action as may be necessary to complete the project and implement the provisions of council's resolution.
Second.
All right, there is a motion and a second. Councilmember Michaud.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to say, as Julie said, this is a historic moment. And this will set the city up for future generations. It'll set up staff for success for years to come. So I want to thank my fellow council members and the staff working closely on this project. I see you. I know it is taking up a lot of your time and effort, so I know it's a lot. So thank you so much. This is the right and necessary thing to do to support our staff, council, and our residents. So I will be voting in favor of this.
Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Council, I want to say thank you very, very much for taking this action tonight. These are generational investments. The action that you have taken with the beginning of buying the building last year, moving forward through this process and authorizing these actions tonight will make a difference in how we collectively serve our community for our kids and their kids. And that's a bold step and a brave step and something that I am very, very grateful for. Julie, thank you to you and all the team, all of our directors and everybody that has been involved. Tanya and Brandon, your whole team, we are making progress, and this is becoming very real and pretty exciting along the way. So, Councilmember Boyce, you asked the question and Pat answered, but I want to double down on my commitment to make sure that along the way at each one of these steps that we will do everything to keep you informed and engage you in these conversations. This is a big deal, and having your fingerprints on these decisions matters. So know that you have my commitment to stay engaged and stay in communication, not just at those quarterly updates, but along the way.
No, I like to think this is the easy work, right? This is the easy stuff. The hard stuff about to get started now, really. So it's very exciting. And Councilmember Michelle said, it's a pretty exciting time.
Yeah.
Looking forward to this year.
All right. Item number 10 is bids. We do not have any this evening, nor do we have an executive session. That brings us down to the bottom of our agenda. With that, everyone have a good evening. Thank you very much.